निपुनो सद्धर्मा संस्थापको पुंडरी दरकार नहीं हारमोनियम लागবে না लोकानां हितकारिणो त्रिभुवने मन्नो शरणाकरो लोकानां हितकारिणो लोकानां हितकारिणो त्रिभुवने मन्नो शरणाकरो राधा कृष्ण पदारविंद भजना नंदेन मत्तालिको नंदेन मत्तालिको राधा कृष्ण पदारविंद भजना नंदेन मत्तालिको वंदे रूप सनातनो रघुजुगो श्रीजीव गोपालको वंदे रूप सनातनो रघुजुगो श्रीजीव गोपालको हरे कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 राम Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunnavadi Paschata Dishatarine Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Hare Krishna. So this is the last session of Brihad Bhagavatamritam. We almost covered everything, although it was a little difficult, but it seems that I'll be basically able to cover the most of it. And I heard from various devotees how much they liked it, how much they benefited from it. I feel happy because this is our responsibility as leaders of this movement. Our business is to inspire devotees in spiritual life, make them understand by joining ISKCON what they're actually getting and what is the ultimate goal of life. The real goal of life we actually understand when we come across the teachings of saintly personalities like Srila Prabhupada and personalities, those who adorn our sampradaya, like Sanatana Goswami here. Through this writing, he is giving us the understanding of the real purport of Srimad Bhagavatam, Brihad Bhagavatamritam. On the first day, I actually mentioned that Sanatana Goswami expanded Srimad Bhagavatam, giving the real understanding of what Srimad Bhagavatam is presenting. And in a similar way, Srimad Bhagavatam has been summarized. And the summary of Srimad Bhagavatam is Brahma Samhita. So we can see the importance of Brahma Samhita. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who didn't want to carry anything with him, he didn't want anybody to accompany him when he went out in the tour of South India. while he was touring South India and came across Brahma Samhita, the personality who would not carry anything with him, the personality who did not write anything besides the 8 verses of Shikshashtakam, that personality copied this Brahma Samhita and carried with him. And he brought it to Jagannath Puri and presented it to the devotees. Why? Because he considered that Brahma Samhita is the most important scripture. And actually this Brahma Samhita is the summary of Srimad Bhagavatam. What Srimad Bhagavatam is giving has been presented in a concise form in this 5th chapter of Brahma Samhita. So consider these books, these scriptures to be very, very important. Most important. These 2 scriptures are essential for the devotees. So Brahma Samhita, I'm sure all of you are acquainted with, and many of you have recited and read. So try to understand the essence of, or the purport of, or meanings of these verses of Brahma Samhita. In a similar way, this morning also I asked how many of you want to have a copy of Brihad Bhagavatamritam, and many hands went up. Those who don't have, they expressed the desire to have Brihad Bhagavatamritam, and please read those scriptures. Of course, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, never neglect the study of Srimad Bhagavatam. Every day, Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Nityam means constantly, all the time. Not only every day. Not just Bhagavat Saptaha, but Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. And that's what Prabhupada started in ISKCON. Like every morning, studying of Srimad Bhagavatam, discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam in every temple. And when you have the time, also read this Brihad Bhagavatamritam. So through this seminar, I simply try to give you an overview of Brihad Bhagavatamritam and generate some interest, some understanding, so that you feel inspired to study this very, very wonderful scripture. So this morning we discussed how Gopkumar arrived in Dwarka, and then in Dwarka Gopkumar was advised by Narad Muni to come to the earth planet in Brajabhumi, Vrindavan, in Mathura Mandal, and perform Sankirtan in order to fulfill his desire to go to Golok. So according to the instruction of Narad Muni, Gopkumar came back to the earth planet in the Brajabhumi, Vrindavan, and there he went to see many places of Krishna's pastimes. Actually, this place was not new to him. He was a resident of Vrindavan. He was a cowherd boy from Govardhan. But after he met his spiritual master in Vrindavan, got the Gopal mantra from him, and as a result of chanting the mantra, as he was making spiritual advancement, he had been time and time again instructed to come back to Vrindavan. And each time he came, he became more qualified to go to the next region of the spiritual domain. And in this way, he saw Vrindavan, that although he spent so many millions of years, we can't even calculate it in terms of millions, not even in terms of trillions, in terms of zillions, I mean, innumerable amount of time has passed, and the shape of this earth planet changed. But Vrindavan remained the same, Mathura Mandal remained the same. So this is an eternal abode, unchanging abode. And when he came to Vrindavan, he saw that, and rather when he went to Vrindavan, Golok Vrindavan, then he saw that Golok is also exactly like this Vrindavan. Not, of course, with Vrindavan with Loi Bazaar and other things, but Vrindavan, the way Vrindavan actually is, the way Gop Kumar saw Vrindavan, that Golok is totally, absolutely similar to this Vrindavan. In that respect, Bhakti Vinod Thakur said that the Vrindavan that we see is actually, with our mundane eyes, the Vrindavan that we see is actually an outer covering, a film that is covering real Vrindavan. So real Vrindavan is not visible with our mundane eyes. Our mundane vision is being covered. The real Vrindavan, the way it is absolutely like Golok Vrindavan. So this way, Gop Kumar went back to Vrindavan and he started to sing the holy name of the Lord, calling out to him with all the love of his heart. And that is Sankirtan. Calling out to the Supreme Personality of Godhead with all the love of his heart. He sang his name about the pastimes of the Lord loudly and sweetly. So this is how he was spending his time in Vrindavan, and his condition there was so unique. He could not make out whether this condition was living in a flame of forest fire or dwelling in supreme nectar. It's a unique, he couldn't make out whether it is acute pain or extreme delight. Like, in a way, it is a pain, he couldn't make out whether it's joy or suffering, whether it is pain or pleasure. Because, in a way, he used to cry, he used to feel that acute pain of being separated from Krishna. But at the same time, there was this unique feeling that couldn't make him recognize whether it is really pain or something else, whether his heart was submerged in a forest fire, burning in a forest fire, or his heart is experiencing an inundation of nectar. And sometimes he would feel that he has fallen in the hands of a great cheater. Like he has given his life to Krishna, and see how Krishna is treating him. Adarshanat marmahatang karotuva. Just as it has been described in the Shikshashtakam. This is the way the devotees feel. By not giving you my darshan, you are just hurting me so intensely. I have given my life to you, hoping that will be the ultimate perfection of my existence. But see what you have done. You have plunged me in an ocean of suffering. But this suffering condition also, this will come afterwards. That this suffering condition, by making one go through that suffering condition, apparently suffering condition, Krishna actually makes a devotee realize that this viraha, vipralambha, separation, is actually the highest form of joy. And that is actually the reason why Krishna doesn't go to Vrindavan, because Krishna feels that if he went to Vrindavan, then the supreme joy that they are experiencing due to his separation will be hindered. The supreme joy, they'll miss out on that, because when Krishna will go there, their joy will turn into anxiety, because their heart will always be thinking, oh, maybe Krishna will leave us, maybe Krishna will leave us. So that joy will be interrupted by this anxiety. Whereas in the separation, the joy of separation is uninterrupted. The thoughts of Krishna, remembrance of Krishna, being with Krishna is uninterrupted. And the most important thing that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, rather Rupa Goswami pointed out, and Jiva Goswami also confirmed it, that Krishna never leaves Vrindavan. Krishna never leaves Vrindavan. Krishna is always there. The residents of Vrindavan have a feeling that Krishna has left. It's like a dream. When they meet Krishna, they feel that they are dreaming, and when they are separated from Krishna, they think that that's the reality. So in this way, Gop Kumar was living in the grove in Vrindavan, the same one where the Mathur Brahman found him. And so one day, Gop Kumar fainted. Seeing the Lord was there, he actually fainted due to the intense separation from the Lord. And then the Lord actually came to him and treated him, brought him back with his own hand. He caressed him, wiped out the tears from his eyes, and brought him back to the senses. And Gop Kumar, when he came back to his senses and opened his eyes, he saw Krishna. And he wanted to catch him, he wanted to embrace him. But Krishna just slipped away. He went behind a bush and disappeared. So Gop Kumar's condition was like a person, a poor man who received a lot of wealth, and then all of a sudden he lost them all. He got it and then lost it. He was submerged in an ocean of sorrow, and in that state he fainted, and his body rolled down to Jamuna. And the swift current of Jamuna was taking him away, and he felt as if then when he came back to his senses, he felt that he was being carried in an unconceivable way. And he saw that he was transported to another place. He was moving in a wonderful path, in a vehicle faster than the mind and higher than one could imagine. So high that gradually Vaikuntha Loka, Ajodha, Dwaraka disappeared from his vision, and he arrived in the shining world of Golok, which he had long aspired to reach. Everything there appeared to be the same, as I mentioned, like Bhoma Vrindavan, the earthly Mathura Mandal. And there, in that land, he came to Mathura, and he went to Bishram Ghat to take bath. And there, after he took his bath, he got to know that how Kamsa is tormenting and the devotees and afflicting all kinds of persecutions to the Jadus, and everyone seemed to be very afraid of Kamsa. And So he also became afraid. Out of fear of Kamsa, he heard that Krishna's family, the Jadus, have left, and he also became afraid, and he quickly left Mathura and went to glorious Vrindavan. In that realm, which is the highest region of the spiritual world, where one from the lower region do not have any access, meaning even the residents of Vaikuntha do not have access to that region. Residents of Ayodhya do not have access to that region. And there he entered and he saw different people, and he felt some kind of loving affection for them. These people were so wonderful. Just the sight attracted his heart towards them. And he was feeling natural ecstasy in seeing them, but he composed himself and asked them, where is the house of Nanda Maharaj? Where can I find Krishna? And but although he was asking them again and again, please, please look with kindness upon this most wretched person. Please tell me who is the king of this region, where is his residence, which road leads to there. O fortunate people, please be merciful upon me. I am asking you with mournful cries, please give me some answer. O faithful devotees, if even only by gesture you indicate me, I will be grateful to you. Please hear the words of this tormented soul. Alas, you must be under the spell of that clever cheat. But they didn't answer. Although he was asking them as if they didn't hear. And in this way he would see some girls picking flowers. He would ask them. He didn't get any answer. He saw some old elderly gentlemen sobbing profusely, incessantly chanting Krishna, Krishna. And he tried to make them also speak. And that person then told with a choked voice that this is the land of Nanda Maharaj, who is the king of the cowherds, Shri Krishna's father. And as soon as Gopkumar heard that, he just fainted, overcome with delight. After that, at that time, that old man revived him and then he saw hundreds of and led him to the gate of the city, and there he saw hundreds of thousands and millions of all sorts of wonders, unseen, unheard of, unimaginable by anyone of this world. So he couldn't actually understand whether the people there were all enjoying the highest bliss or suffering the grip of terrible misery. Then he heard the gopis sing, coupled with their crying. But were the songs of the greatest contentment or of greatest sorrow? He couldn't make out. Then an elderly lady came by. This elderly lady is Jogomaya, Purnamasi. She is the one who actually takes one to Krishna's pastimes. So anyone who goes to Vrindavan must receive the mercy of Purnamasi, because she is the one who arranges Krishna's pastimes and engages the devotees in his service. So seeing her, Gopkumar offered his obeisances and asked her, where is Nandanandan playing today? Where is Krishna, please? And that lady told him, this morning, that giver of life of Brajabasis went into the dense forest to play with his cows and friends and his respected elder brother, Balaram. Later at dusk, he will return. And all the Brajabasis are actually waiting for his return. Their eyes are transfixed on that direction. So then, Gopkumar noticed that he heard some sound. The sound of mooing of the cows, laughter of the boys, and the sound of the playing of the flutes. And then he saw that everyone was looking at that direction. And then he saw Krishna coming with all the cowherd boys and cows. And seeing that, from a distance, seeing Krishna, Gopkumar ran to meet him. And seeing Gopkumar, Krishna addressed Sridhama, see, our friend has come back. And Krishna also ran, and they embraced each other. And then when Krishna was speaking to him, my friend, I'm so happy to see you. And before that, Gopkumar actually fainted. And then Krishna brought him back to his senses. And while Krishna was speaking to him, then he also fainted. He fainted and fell on the ground. Then some gopis came and said, everyone became so shocked to see. And some of them thought maybe, these gopis actually said, this person is an agent of Kamsa. He has come to harm Krishna. And they started to cry. This servant, this must be some servant of that great wizard Kamsa. Lamenting in this way, the gopis cried out loudly in distress as they surrounded Krishna. Then from behind Krishna, the cowherd boys came, and seeing Krishna in that condition, they also became extremely worried. Then hearing their cry, Nanda Maharaj and other elderly Brajavasis, they also ran out. They came out of the house and ran there. Then the cows and bulls and the calves also came and surrounded Krishna. The animals, they also started crying. Even the birds flying overhead also started to cry. And so this is way they all were drowned in an ocean of sorrow, confused about what to do, severely tormented. And Gopkumar also didn't know what to do. So he just put Krishna's feet on his head. And then Balaram came, and he also became afraid that did somebody harm Krishna in this way, that he is lying in the ground unconscious. The feeling was, did somebody kill Krishna? Then even Balaram fainted in sorrow. But then he came back to his senses. Then he understood what is the cause of Krishna's fainting. So he wiped out the tears from Krishna's face and brushed the dust from his body, and he told Gopkumar that chant the names of Krishna in his ears and lift him up from the ground and call him out Then Krishna opened his eyes. And seeing him, seeing Gopkumar, he joyfully embraced and kissed him. But then he looked around and he became embarrassed. He asked me, then Krishna greeted all the people of Braja and entered the best of cowherd villages with the gait of an elephant. The forest, so when Krishna came to the village of Vrindavan, Braja, then the wild animals, they were following Krishna, they stood there because they couldn't come into the village. So they just stood there, just kept on looking at Krishna, and some of the animals just laid down there to spend the night so that they would greet Krishna again in the morning. This is how even the animals were feeling miserable, being separated from Krishna. They simply stood at the entrance of the village, ready to spend the entire night with the hope of seeing their Lord again the next morning. And then Nanda Maharaj took Krishna to the house. Mother Jashoda came out and she was already there. She went inside. Upon hearing the cry, Mother Jashoda also came running along with the other gopis and elderly gopis. And so now Mother Jashoda went inside, brought some paraphernalia for Arati and greeted Krishna by performing Arati to him. And caressed him with her own hair and affectionately embraced and kissed him. And she couldn't make out where she would keep Krishna. Whether she would keep Krishna on her head, at her breast, or within her womb to protect him. This is the affection that Mother Jashoda felt for Krishna. And Krishna then took Gopkumar by his hand and took him with him inside the house. Then all the other cowherd boys stood there looking at Krishna, and Krishna also stood there. He just waved at them. And the boys couldn't leave. Krishna also couldn't leave. They just stood there transfixed, looking at each other. Krishna from the balcony, from the entrance of the house, and they were outside. And Gopkumar just saw how Krishna was just standing there. Then Mother Jashoda took, seeing Krishna in that condition, took him inside. Come Krishna, come inside. So then Krishna went, and seeing this Gopkumar, Mother Jashoda also was so happy that she caressed him, and as if he was her own son. At that time, all the gopis arrived there, and Mother Jashoda was preparing to bathe Krishna, and Krishna was thinking that he wanted to be with the gopis, but if Mother Jashoda was there, so he could not. Mother Jashoda and Mother Rohini was there, so he could not deal with the gopis properly. So he told, Mother, I'm feeling very hungry. Please quickly make some food for me. And Mother Jashoda then told the gopis, okay, you all bathe Nanda Dulal, and I'm going with Rohini to prepare for Krishna's dinner. And then Then the gopis then quickly took up that position to bathe Krishna and Balaram. So they quickly bathed Balaram and sent him off to bring Nanda Maharaj back for dinner. And then gopis divided up in different services among themselves. They removed Krishna's various ornaments one by one and wiped his limbs with their own garments. Then they asked for his flute. So Krishna recognized that the gopis consider the fruit to be their enemy. So he was not comfortable giving the flute to them. So he just threw the flute and Gop Kumar caught it. So he gave it, he kept the flute in the safe custody of Gop Kumar. And so then the gopis smeared Krishna's body with oils, and in this way they massaged Krishna's body. And when they were smearing Krishna's body with oil and rubbing the oil in his body, Krishna, in a playful naughtiness, he suddenly drew his breath, making a sound of pain. And hearing that sound, Mother Jashoda came out running from inside. What happened? What happened? And she chastised the gopis. Treat him carefully. Don't hurt him. What are you doing? So this is how Krishna had his naughty exchange with the gopis. And when then Mother Jashoda saw that Krishna was smiling, then she felt relieved and went into inside the house. And then the gopis bathed Krishna with warm, clear, fragrant water carried from Jamuna in jewel-studded vessels and clay pots. They dressed him like an actor and decorated him the way he liked, with clothes, jewelry, wonderful garlands, and perfume pastes, all brought from their homes. They decorated his throat, his forehead, his cheeks, and so on with wonderful designs made with first-class pastes of sandal, saffron, and musk. And while they were decorating Krishna, Krishna lovingly gazed at the gopis. They tried hard to keep their hands steady. While they were decorating Krishna, they were being with Krishna and seeing that Krishna was looking at them. Their hands started to shake, and they found it difficult to do the design properly. And Krishna, in his playful way, was speaking to them about what happened in the forest today, and he was joking with them in a charming way, and he inspired in this way their loving relationship. And so while they were decorating Krishna, and in the midst of all these loving exchanges, the decoration never got quite finished. So the gopis had to keep erasing the decoration and redo it because they felt that this was not proper. And Mother Jashoda came out with a heart perturbed with affection, and few times she came out seeing whether Krishna got ready. And then Mother Jashoda told, "What are you doing, you cowherd girls? You are just unreliable children. Haven't you finished bathing and decorating him? Yet why is it taking so long?" And in this way, Gop Kumar saw the loving exchange between Krishna and the gopis and Mother Jashoda. And prior to that, he experienced the loving exchange that Krishna had with the cowherd boys. And prior to that, he saw the loving exchange that Krishna had with the forest animals and birds. So then when the gopis saw that Nanda Maharaj has arrived with Balaram, and after taking his bath, so they quickly left that place, and Krishna came forward. Nanda Maharaj sat down on his golden seat on the dining hall and began to have his meals. And Mother Jashoda's darling child sat on his left, Nanda Maharaj's left, and the son of Rohini, Balaram, sat on the right. And they put a seat for Gop Kumar in front. And from inside the house, Mother Rohini sent the meal, the prasadam, that were actually fit for an emperor. And arranged in many jewel-studded vessels of gold and silver, and Mother Jashoda served them. And Krishna was eating them, relishing them. And sometimes Krishna's father and mother and brother took turns to carefully put the food in Krishna's mouth, morsels of food in Krishna's mouth, and Krishna playfully accepted. They were also feeding Krishna. And then different gopis also brought different food stuff from their house, and they served that also. And Krishna took them and he appreciated, oh, this preparation is so nice, so tasty. And then Radharani put some food that she brought, and it was kept there. So Krishna took a pinch from that and put it in his mouth, and he twisted his mouth in such a way as if he tasted something bitter as juice of neem leaves. And and then he looked towards Radharani, and Radharani, and Krishna made that gesture, and Radharani looked at him with her eyes expressing surprise and some kind of amazing feeling, like, what's the matter? Why are you behaving like that? That was the way she looked at Krishna. And is it so bad? Mother Jashoda even looked at Radharani as if telling, Radharani, what happened? What did you cook today? That our son, Nanda Dulal, is feeling that way about the taste. And then Krishna gave that to Gop Kumar, said, you take it, you eat it. And when Gop Kumar tasted that, he felt that this is the most relishable thing that he ever tasted. And he couldn't understand why Krishna reacted like that. And then, from the loving exchange of glances that Krishna had with Krishna and Radharani had between them, Gop Kumar realized that it was Krishna's playful prank with Radharani. And it has been described here, Krishna picked up a few of the sweets with the nails of his thumb, just a pinch. With the thumb and his forefinger, and put them on the tip of his tongue. He then made a face as if they tasted like bitter neem. Krishna's brother smiled His mother was angry at Sri Radhika, and his father was surprised. Rather, innocent girlfriends were pained, and her antagonists were delighted. Radharani also has her competitors, and when they saw that, they were happy that, oh, today Krishna didn't appreciate Radharani's preparations. Radha secretly looked at Krishna and arched her eyebrows, and Krishna, nodding his head, gratified her with a gentle smile and sidelong glance. Suddenly, Gopkumar understood that this was a pastime by the crest jewel of skillful actors to thoroughly please the devotees tormented by the weight of their love for him. So in this way, Krishna had his dinner, and he took Gopkumar also to take part in that dinner. And then Balaram went to sleep, and Krishna, singing songs, wandered about the village courtyard. Eager to enjoy with the beautiful girls of Braja, Krishna played for a short time outside. Then, out of respect for his mother, he responded to her distant call. Mother Jashoda is telling, Krishna, come home, come back, take rest, go to bed. So he went straight to his bedroom and lay down comfortably on his bed. And then Sridama took Gopkumar to his house. Gopkumar actually belonged to Sridama's group. In the spiritual world, there are different group leaders. The cowherd boys has group. The real leader of the topmost leader is Balaram, and then there are 12 Dadas Gopal, 12 Gopals, and they have their groups and subgroups, and this is how there are different groups. So Gopkumar actually belonged to Sridama's group rather than his brother's group. So Sridama took Gopkumar to his house, and Gopkumar spent the night there at great distress being separated. And early next morning, he went to the house of Nanda Maharaj and saw that Krishna was asleep in bed, his body showing signs of conjugal enjoyment. Krishna at night went and met with the gopis. And seeing those signs, like scratches of nail and sign like mud from Jamuna and the other signs. So when Mother Jashoda came in the morning and saw in Krishna that way, then she started to lament that, look, all day my little boy tended the cows in the forest, fatigued, and now still he did not wake up. And while he was running in the forest, the thorns made cut all over his body. Oh, how painful this must be for him. But now fast asleep, he is not aware of anything. And he has smeared the kajal from his eyes all over his body. He doesn't even know that he has spilled red pan juice from his lips all over himself. And that by turning over and over in the bed, he has broken his necklace and garlands and other ornaments. My goodness, this saffron-colored clay from the shore of Jamuna, it seems that even in his bath he could wash it off. It has become like an inseparable friend to his body, clinging to his body. Yesterday evening, those fickle gopis didn't bathe him with proper attention. They didn't nicely apply the oil and wipe off what was left. In this way, Mother Jashoda spoke right in front of the young girls of Braja, who had just arrived and who now had signs of fear, laughter and embarrassment playfully shining on their faces. Krishna then finished his pastimes of sleep, and his mother bathed him, adorned him with ornaments, and fed both him and Balaram. And then when Sri Krishna was ready to leave with the cowherd boys to tend the cows, Mother Jashoda asked the Brahmanis, the elderly Brahmana ladies and other ladies to offer blessings to Krishna, and she made Krishna do all prescribed rituals to prepare for his outing. And at that time, all the cowherd boys came from the village, from their house, different houses, and gathered there. And Krishna with Balaram stood there, playing in hands, joyfully sang, danced, and glorified them. Krishna's elder brother walked in front, and I walked behind. And the girls, unable to tolerate being separated from Krishna, found excuses to follow and came out from the village, helplessly pulled by ropes of love. Mother Jashoda saw Krishna perspiring from a mood of ecstasy and came to wipe his face and went with him as far as the outer gates of the village, her breasts wet with milk. At Krishna's request, Mother Jashoda turned back towards the house. But she took a few steps, then she stopped. She couldn't go any further and went back to Krishna again. So this is how it happened a few times. Krishna would tell Mother, Mother, now you have come enough, far enough, now you go home. So Mother Jashoda would go back, and after taking a few steps she would stop. And then she would look at Krishna and come running. So this is how it went on for a few times. But then she again returned and plaintively gave him some instructions, and instruction to Balaram also. Balaram and other cowherd boys. Balaram, you protect Krishna. When he is in the forest, so many dangers are actually afflicting us. So I am depending upon you. And because no elderly person is there, so you are his elder brother, you are the senior most, so you take care of him. And she would advise Krishna, instruct Krishna, my child, don't go too far in the forest, into the impenetrable wood, and never enter deep into the forest where there are thorns. My dear Balaram, you stay in front of your younger brother, and you, Shridhama, stay behind your friend Krishna with Charu. And Amsu should stay on Krishna's right and Subala on his left. And then she looked intently at her son. In this way, Mother Jashoda, anxiously going back and forth again and again, showed more love than a cow who has just given birth to a calf. Her son then bowed down to her, took hold of her feet and embraced her, and with various rationales and finally with words of insistence of his own, with great effort he made her turn back. And she, Mother Jashoda, crying, milk dripping from her breasts, stood right there, motionless, like a painted picture, and distantly watched from that high place near the forest. But the lovely gopis, the beautiful young gopis, kept on following Krishna. Their throats choked with weeping. They could no longer sing, nor see through their streams of tears. And their feet stumbled. In their shyness and fear, they had nothing they could do or say. Drowning in a great ocean of sorrow, they had no way to hold back their feelings. Krishna had stolen the hearts and eyes of those young girls. The girls had come so far from the cowherd village, and now with some endeavor he stopped them, and as they looked at him, he repeatedly tried to send them home. Nanda Maharaj, king of cowherds, naturally loved Krishna ever so much, but upon seeing his wife's loving concern, he was enslaved by overwhelming affection. Though Nanda Maharaj had gone with Krishna to a great distance, and the elder cowherds with him, when Nanda saw the great burden of love of all the people of Braja bore for his son, he was unable to turn back. And Nanda Maharaj was delighted to see many auspicious omens and see the animals and other creatures all very happy, yet he was distraught at having to be parted from his son Krishna. Again and again he embraced Krishna and Krishna's elder brother, both separately and together. He smelled their heads and shed tears in the pain of great love for them. Then Krishna bowed down to Nanda Maharaj, reminded him of the many duties that Nanda Maharaj had to perform, and sent him home. Turned back, Nanda stood motionless, looked at Krishna and nothing else. So in this way, Krishna left for the pestering ground to tend the cows and play with his friends, and this is how all the residents of Vrindavan reacted. And this shows their love for this, the dearmost object of their heart. Krishna felt heavy at the heart from sending the gopis back, but his friends quickly pulled him forward and made him enter the beautiful Vrindavan forest. As his companions pointed out the splendors of Vrindavan, and as he described them himself and supported his praise with logic, he was more or less freed of distress. In this way, Gopkumar experienced how the happiness of the residents of Golok far exceeds any other. It transcends reason, so how can it give room for words? Only those who live in Golok and always perceive that happiness know its true nature, because the Lord has such friendly feelings towards them. So I'll just skip some now. And one day, so this is how Krishna would spend his time with the cowherd boys. So Gopkumar, since he is a boyfriend of Krishna, Gop Balak, his time with Krishna was mostly during the day. So there is the descriptions of Krishna's daily pastimes. And one day, while playing on the shore of Jamuna, Krishna heard that Kaliya had come back to his lake. Krishna rushed there alone, swiftly climbed up a nipa tree and dived into the lake, splashing water onto the shore. Krishna frolicked in the water, enjoying the sport of swimming back and forth and making all sorts of loud noises. But then he drew near the cruel Kaliya and out of curiosity allows himself to be enveloped by the serpent's coil. He allowed Kaliya to envelop him in its coil. When Krishna's companions, the cowherd boys, saw that for no good reason Krishna has disappeared, Krishna was gone, they all became very worried, as if struck down by death. In great anxiety to find him, they followed his footprints to the lake. So, when they came to the lake, they saw Krishna in that condition. And seeing in that condition, many of them fainted, many of them started to cry, and even the animals also, forest animals also came and saw Krishna's condition. The cows, the bulls and calves, and all the animals of the forest stood on the shore, eyes fixed on Krishna's face, and their cries made a great roar of suffering. Birds, exhausted from lying loudly crying, flew over the lake and they fell into the lake. Trees and plants suddenly dried up, and many terrible inauspicious omens appeared. Inspired by Lord Krishna's from within, one old man, being inspired, seeing that condition of Krishna, ran into the village and crying, he just announced what happened. The people of the cowherd village had already saw some frightening inauspicious signs, and so they, in frantic concern, they started out to seek him. They ran to meet Krishna. Balaram, who was sitting in his house, tried to console the people of Braja, who were running forward like living corpses. Balaram just cried, "This cannot be true." But he also came to the lake, and seeing Krishna's condition in that state, he also couldn't keep his gravity and wept in the distress of love. And as Balaram lamented, and he fainted, just like Jashoda and Nanda Maharaj. Now, hearing that sound, now Balaram actually came back to his senses again. And moment later, Krishna's parent again became conscious. Seeing their son in such plight, they cried loudly and rushed to enter the lake. But powerful Balaram held them back with the strength of his arms. Baladev said, "These are not the attendants who live with you in Vaikuntha. They are not the forest monkeys. They are not the Jadavas. These are your devoted Golok," Balaram told to Krishna, "who have no life other than you. They are dying, my Lord, and there is nothing I can do to save them." Balaram appealed to Krishna, that, "My dear Lord, these residents of Vrindavan, residents of Golok, are very special. You are their life and soul. So seeing you in this condition, they all are dying. So please keep them alive. I cannot keep them alive. O merciful Krishna, please give me this game. Please give up this game before these devotees die. Otherwise, O Krishna, the sole friend of the cowherds, your gentle heart will come to grief." Then Krishna stopped his self-invented sport and freed himself from the grip of the Kaliya's coil. He climbed up on Kaliya's thousands of upraised, outspread hoods and extended his lotus arms. And the gopis, who also fainted seeing in that condition, they came back to their consciousness, regained their consciousness. So Krishna stretched their arms, hand towards them, and Krishna pulled them also on top of Kaliya's head. And there with the gopis, Krishna danced. Krishna briskly raised them onto the hoods of the snake. Those hoods, delightfully swaying back and forth, appeared like rows of jeweled platforms, creating a most impressive sight. Krishna artfully danced with the gopis on those most amazing stages, accompanied by many celestial singers and musicians. Thus Lord Krishna, the source of all amusement, enjoyed his rasa dance pastimes on Kaliya's head. Nanda and the others on the shore, brought back to consciousness by Balaram, gazed at Krishna with delight and surprise. Having thus subduing the king of snakes, Krishna, grinning, seized the shawls of the serpent's wives. So, when Krishna was punishing Kaliya, apparently, it is here, it's just playing. Then Kaliya's wives came and started to offer prayers. So Krishna took the upper shawls of those Nagapatnis, Kaliya's wives, who were offering him prayers. And from those garments, Krishna made a long rain, and with his left hand playfully pierced the threaded Kaliya's nose. Mounting the serpent like a horse, Krishna toughly drove him forward, all the while with his right hand happily playing the flute. He was holding on to Kaliya's mouths, as with the shawls of the Nagapatnis he made the rain, and with the right hand he was playing the flute. And then sometimes he would swing his flute overhead as if like a whip to encourage Kaliya to drive. So in this way, Krishna showered his mercy upon Kaliya by making serpent his carrier. Then, together with the troops of young cowherd girls, most amazing Krishna dismounted Kaliya. The serpent was filled with happiness, for he had obtained great favors and benediction difficult for even Garuda to achieve. Once, the two great demons, Keshi and Arishta, came to Vraja. They were favorite servants of wicked Kamsa, visible manifestations of his life here. They assumed the form of a huge horse and other a bull. Keshi took the form of a huge, gigantic horse, and Arishta took the form of a bull. They terrified the cowherds trampling the land of Gokul. Though Krishna's frightened loved ones tried to stop Krishna, pulling him back with all their might, Krishna reassured them, showing the courage of a hero. So Krishna proceeded to deal with those two demons, Keshi and Arishta. Keshi, running very fast, appeared before Krishna, and Krishna with a kick tossed him far away. Krishna next found Arishta, the bull, pierced a hole in his nose, tied him up, and brought him before Lord Shiva, Gopishar. and offered Arishta to Lord Shiva to become his bull. Then Keshi the horse returned, regaining consciousness. But powerful Krishna, whose valor never faltered, jumped up and forcibly mounted on Keshi, training him to move here and there. Krishna splendidly displayed his own prowess by taming Keshi completely. Krishna actually tamed this terrible Keshi in this way. Then Krishna had thousands of his friends, so Krishna brought them all onto Keshi's back and they went for a joyride, horse ride. Having brought the horse under his control in no time, Krishna tied him up with ropes and kept him within the cowherd village for the entertainment of riding and for pulling carts. He also kept the bull. One day while Krishna was living in the town of Nandishwar, Akrura came on Kamsa's order to take Krishna from Braja to Mathura. At night, the residents of Gokul heard the news that Akrura has arrived. They all lamented profusely in various ways. They cried and fainted again and again. Jashoda was terrified of wicked Kamsa, hiding herself and hiding Krishna by keeping him covered with her cloth. She uttered special vow for his protection. When Mother Jashoda heard that Akrura came to take Krishna, Mother Jashoda took Krishna and covered him up and she took Krishna and she was hiding and covered Krishna also in a hiding. When Nanda Maharaj woke up in the morning, Akrura explained things and presented numerous arguments to convince him. Nanda in turn convinced his sobbing wife and then brought Krishna outside. The gopis watched helplessly as if Nanda were depriving them of their life heirs, and without shame cried out in agonized voice, "Alas, alas." When Jashoda came outside, miserably wiping tears, and torrents of tears came from her eyes, she took her son's hand and placed it in the hand of Akrura, the son of Safalka, as if giving Krishna to him for safekeeping. She then told Nanda, I place in your hands this son, more dear to me than life and wealth. Don't trust anyone, just bring him back to my side and return him to my hand. So in this way, Akrura came to take Krishna, and it was again reenacted, how that pastimes took place before. So everyone was crying, except Akrura, Nanda and Balaram and the cowherds. And even beloved Krishna, who had mounted Akrura's chariot, all the residents of Braja was bewildered. And after a moment, Krishna, the life and soul of the young gopis, came to his senses. He saw the gopis apparently on the verge of death, and he got down from the chariot and he disappeared. He ran into the forest, surrounded by the gopis, unseen by others. He went to the forest grove. When Akrura saw that Krishna is missing, so he started to look for Krishna. With clever words, then he tried to win the confidence of Balaram. he appealed to Balaram that Balaram, actually Krishna needs to go to Mathura because his mother and father are suffering so much, being persecuted by Kamsa. So for theirs, Krishna has to go for their sake. So please make arrangement that we can take Krishna to Mathura. So then Balaram, being convinced by Akrura in this way, went with Akrura and Vasudev to the forest. Following certain signs, he was able to locate the grove. Finding Krishna surrounded by gopis, Balaram stood at a distance. But Akrura, in a tearful voice, spoke out so that Krishna would hear those words. So Akrura said, "Evil Kamsa is unceasingly harassing your old parents. Swords held high, he is ready to kill them. Surely you should not neglect them, your devotees, so burdened by fear, by sorrow, by pain. The Jadavas had no shelter but you, all in great distress, their eyes fixed upon the path for my return. They are burning in a fire of lamentation. They all live in terror of Kamsa, and so also do the demigods, brahmanas, and other exalted persons. Don't deprive them of hope. Kamsa, the subduer of demigods, always brags about the strength of his own arms. He has no regard for anyone. He is constantly worshipped by demons like himself, some impotent, some very powerful, and by the rulers of men. In this way, Akrura spoke, and taking a blade of grass on his mouth between his teeth, and cried plaintively again and again. Then that person named Uncruel, Akrura means, Krura means cruel, Akrura means not cruel, who had most brutal duty to perform. The one whose name was Uncruel had the most cruel responsibility to execute. Offered his obeisances to all the women of Braja one by one. And Akrura said, "Don't be death for the descendants of the Jadu dynasty and for all the people of the world. Please have mercy on them. Dear goddesses, Krishna's wretched parents are imprisoned by Kamsa. Please help rescue them." And then the gopis said, "You great cheat, you speaker of falsehood, you follower of Kamsa, how can those you speak of Krishna's parents? These two boys are the sons of Nanda and Jashoda. Don't murder Gokul. Do not become a killer of women." So the gopis didn't accept that Krishna is the son of Devaki and Vasudeva. To them, Krishna is the son of Nanda Maharaj and Jashoda. So when Akrura said that Kamsa is about to kill Krishna's parents, they couldn't accept that. He said, "What are you talking? You are a cheat. You are a liar. You are talking about Krishna's parents being imprisoned as if Krishna's parents are somewhere else. Krishna's parents are here, Nanda and Jashoda." So in this way, but then when Krishna heard the wicked Kamsa's deeds, when he heard the misery he himself has caused his own relatives, and when he saw that Balaram agreed with Akrura, he apologized to the gopis, and showing anger and sadness, he left the grove. Akrura was overjoyed with Balaram's permission. He quickly left the grove and ran to bring the chariot. When the gopis understood that Krishna was about to leave for the city, they fixed their eyes on his lotus face. In dread of imminent fire of separation, they cried and spoke to Krishna, falling at his lotus feet. They said, "O Master, we cannot live even a moment without you. We have no other shelter. Do not abandon us. Your maidservants, O Lord, take us with you wherever you go. For the sake of you, the forests have become our homes, and our homes have become forests. Our enemies became our friends, and our friends became our enemies. Poison, sweet nectar, and nectar poison. Without you, we will die. How could we not die a slow death if we could no longer see you anywhere? Your beautiful smiling face, your all-attractive lotus feet, and your chest adorned by all splendor. When you go off to Vrindavan forest with your friends, eager to enjoy your cowherd pastimes, we manage to pass our day only with difficulty by holding on to the hope that in the evening you will certainly return. But if you go so far away on the order of the wicked Kamsa to the city and the company of his friends, how shall we be able to live? Thinking of the pain you will suffer away from home and what might happen to you, will be distraught with all sorts of worries. We cannot imagine how much trouble you will have to endure to kill Kamsa and his followers, nor how long it will take to wipe out the misery of the people of Mathura, nor can we be sure you will remember us." In this way, the gopis uttered their pitiful lamentation, which made all who were present cry till the minds were lost. Then Krishna said, "My enemy Kamsa is certainly weak. With no effort I shall dispose of him. Consider me practically returned to you already. My dear friends, please don't create misfortune by crying." Saying that, then Krishna mounted on the chariot, and Akrura drove the chariot so fast, avoiding all the people as if they couldn't even see him. He drove so fast. In this way, Akrura took Krishna to Mathura. The women of Braja couldn't even slightly bear being separated from Krishna. As they watched him depart, they cried, "Alas, alas." Their faces dried up, their steps faltered, and they sobbed pitifully in great anguish. With long drawn-out cries, their voices choking in their throats, they ran behind the chariot, their laments filling all directions. Some of them held on to the chariot, others forcefully fell beneath its wheels with wheels, some fainted, and still others couldn't even go forward. The cows, bulls, calves, deer, all the animals stood around the chariot, bellowing, their faces drenched with tears. Birds flew here and there above Krishna, making a great commotion, and suddenly the leaves of the plants dried up. Stones and mighty trees fell from the tall mountains. The river shrunk and flowed upstream, leaving their creatures high and dry. So then Akrura, fearing that Krishna might jump down from the chariot and go off again, supported the Lord from behind, as if affectionately concerned that the Lord might faint and fall down. So Akrura from his behind was holding on to Krishna so that Krishna cannot run away again. Noticing that Krishna was indeed about to faint, Akrura took permission from Balaram, Nanda and others, cracked his whip and vigorously made the chariot horses set out. He quickly drove the chariot away, swerving to avoid the animals and the cowherd women who had fallen here and there. As the gopis looked on, crying woefully like Karuri birds, Akrura drove off with Krishna like an eagle carrying a piece of flesh. He drove the horses so swiftly that no one could tell where he went. All the cowherd men headed by Nanda mounted their own carts, yoked to large bulls, and quickly followed Akrura. Akrura brought Krishna to Lord Balaram, Akrura brought Krishna to Lord Brahma's lake, offered him many kinds of prayers, and consoled him with continuous flow of logical arguments, in this way restoring him to an almost normal state. So this is how Gop Kumar, whose spiritual name actually was Sarup, his voice full of grief, loudly wept. I mean, while he was describing these activities of Krishna in Golok, he started to cry. And overwhelmed by ecstasy and pure love, he fainted. Coming back to his senses, Sarup said, Krishna went to Madhupuri, where he pleased all his residents. He killed Kamsa and his followers and delivered his own parents. He installed Ugrasen, Kamsa's father, as king, brought the Jadavas back from all directions, and consoled the people of the city. And then the Jadus, who had no goal of life but Krishna, had suffered greatly and were terrified by Kamsa's. Out of concern for those Jadus, Krishna, always compassionate to his devotees, stayed with them with his elder brother Balaram. And to comfort his devotees in Gokul, he sent back Nanda Maharaj and other cowherd men. Krishna told Nanda Maharaj, Father, first you should quickly go home with the cowherds before any of Gokula's residents die in our absence. I will soon arrange for the happiness of those well-wishers of yours in Mathura, whose hearts are so distressed. Then I'll come back to Braja. Nanda Maharaj told, before I came here, I assured the Brajavasis that I could never believe that you are someone else's son, nor ever believe that you could abandon such friends as them and live elsewhere. Therefore, please save us. Don't ever, for any reason, send us away from you. Wherever you might go, by your sweet will, there you please allow us to go with you. The Brajavasis and your mother still live and breathe only because I gave them hope. If I were to turn so hard-hearted as to go back without you, surely they would die on the spot. Shidama told Krishna, when you display your glories by grazing the cows in the pasture, dear Lord, you are hidden behind trees or creepers. For but a moment we cannot bear to live. How then can we possibly stay without you for a long time? As the Lord heard those complaints from his devotees, he stood in silence. Then Vasudev, the son of Surasena, spoke up, afraid that the Lord might decide to go back to Braja. Vasudeva said, "Brother Nanda, surely your son and his elder brother can be happy in all respects only by living there in Braja. They will suffer nothing but distress anywhere else. But now is the time for them to be initiated. They should go as brahmacharis to another place to study, and afterwards they can return to Braja." When Nanda saw that Krishna disagreed with his words and agreed with the words of Vasudeva, Nanda departed crying in distress. So, obeying Krishna's order, the Nanda Maharaj and cowherd men went back to Braja. And when the Brajavasis heard that he had arrived, they all came out to greet him full of joy. Nanda, however, overcome with sorrow of shame, covered his face with his cloth and went home. There he lay on ground and cried, supremely miserable. The Brajavasis, not seeing their Lord, were besides themselves with distress, confused about what to do, and sick with foreboding and apprehension. Actually, when Nanda Maharaj, they got the news that Nanda Maharaj came back, the Brajavasis thought that Krishna also came back. So they ran to meet, but they saw that Nanda Maharaj came back without Krishna and Balaram. And Nanda Maharaj felt so embarrassed that he gave them the words that he will bring Krishna back, but he had to come back leaving Krishna behind. So he, in utter embarrassment and agony, he covered his head, and quickly went to his house, and he fell on the ground and started to cry. Mother Jashoda cried, and the most and at that time the Swarup, while narrating that do you remember now? Who is telling this story or anecdote? That Gopkumar to that Brahmana. And while he was narrating this incidents to Brahmana, Gopkumar fainted. Then that Brahmana, with great difficulty, brought Swarup to his normal condition. And Gopkumar, fearful of becoming confused again, spoke no further details on that topic. So Gopkumar didn't say anything, he just... But when kind-hearted Swarup saw that the Mathura Brahman was eager to hear the rest of the story, he controlled his mind and continued to speak. He told Krishna heard from a reliable person that the heavy sorrow of Brajavasis felt could never be removed by any other means. He fully explained the state of affairs to the people of Mathura, and controlled by the love of his dearest devotees, he soon went back to Braja. So Krishna went back to Vrindavan. Impelled by compassion. So this is how in Golok also these pastimes would take place. Although there it is not real, but by Krishna's inconceivable potency, by the inconceivable potency, the residents of Golok would be affected in such a way, as if this is the way this is happening in real life. Impelled by the compassion for the residents of Braja, Krishna, the crest jewel of artful heroes, quickly gave them back their lives. He enjoyed with them until they forgot their misery and what has caused it. So this is the meaning of Krishna consciousness. See, their consciousness, the consciousness of the residents of Vrindavan, consciousness of the pure devotees are completely in tune with Krishna's. They don't have anything, any consciousness of their own. It is Krishna's consciousness that they're tuned into. And accordingly, whatever Krishna does, they become a part of it. Whereas in the material nature, we have our own consciousness, we have our own desire, we have our own ability to act according to that desire. But in the spiritual world, it's not like that. In the spiritual world, everyone's consciousness is tuned into Krishna's consciousness. Therefore, Rupa Goswami said, always remember Krishna and never forget him. That is the meaning of Krishna consciousness. Always be in tune with Krishna's consciousness. No more independent, individual consciousness. It is all Krishna's consciousness that prevails. And this is how the residents of Vrindavan sometimes meet with Krishna and sometimes become separated from Krishna. They feel that they have become separated. That's why it has been explained by the Goswamis that Krishna never ever leaves Vrindavan. He is always there in Vrindavan. On another occasion, when Akrura came to Vraja on his chariot, as if he had never come before, he once again took away the life of Vraja, and his residents went again into the same state. Again Krishna went to Madhupuri, again killed Kamsa, and again returned to Vraja, where he continued as before to enjoy his pastimes. Thus Krishna again and again goes to Kamsa's city, as he did many times before, and again returns to sport in Vraja. Krishna subdues Kaliya time and time again. In the same way, and time again lifts Govardhan hill, and again he performs his many other wonderful pastimes. Thus Lord enchants the hearts of his devotees. But the residents of Vraja, completely bewildered by the Kalkut poison of their supreme love for Krishna, never think that any of these events had ever happened before. They don't remember that it had ever happened before. Therefore, they all appear to him with newer and newer charm. Thus, the powerful force of their obsessive love ever increasingly grows both in union and separation. As true as this is for the eternal residents of Vraja, even newcomers like me can hardly remember those past events. So this is the point. This is an important point to remember. The time in this material nature has three aspects: past, present, and future. But if we consider, the present is non-existent here. Because even we have sent the P of the present is gone into past. From future, the time is constantly moving into past. And present is just a momentary glimpse, just a concept, momentary concept that this is present. Whereas in the spiritual world, it is eternally present. And there is no future and no past. They don't remember the past and they do not have any awareness of the future. So they live in eternally present, being absorbed in Krishna's pastimes. So the present is Krishna's pastimes. That is where they're completely absorbed in. And they don't have any recollections of the past and they don't have any awareness of the future. As true as this is for eternal residents of Vraja, Even newcomers like me can hardly remember those past events. How can any resident of Braja not forget in this way? The Brajavasis, after all, are ever immersed in the ocean made by these river currents of most enchanting sweetness. And by gaining the vast, most desirable treasure of pure love, the Brajavasis become maddened. And oh, the most glorious thing is that the foremost of enlightened persons, the Lord Himself, while drowning in an ocean of love for His dear devotees, cannot always remember what He has done and what He is going to do. See, being in Krishna consciousness, they don't remember what Krishna has done, and they don't remember what Krishna will do. They don't have any consideration, any remembrance. The pastimes of the Lord are ever existing and purely spiritual, formed of eternity, knowledge and bliss. Of their own accord, those pastimes, attracted to the Lord's lotus feet, to engage in service, follow Him everywhere, supplying the entourage and paraphernalia for each occasion. O Brahmana, this is Gop Kumari saying, O Brahmana, thus I have told you about Golok's unique, most extreme greatness and sweetness, which flows everywhere like a flooding river. The Mathura Brahman said, after striving for so long in so many ways and with so many desires in your heart, you achieve Krishna's abode. Now that He has gone to Madhupuri, where will you reside and how will you live? Then Gop Kumar said, by the order of the Lord, I and all devotees like me continue to live in Braja in company of Nanda and others whose mood resemble ours. This is the nature of Golok, Krishna's world. Even in His absence, the residents want to stay. None want to go anywhere else. The residents of Vrindavan don't want to go anywhere else. Their sorrow dances vigorously on the head of every kind of happiness. That's what a beautiful expression. The sorrow dances on the head of every kind of happiness. That is, the sorrow there is superior to the highest joy. And anguish gives a joy more intense than any bliss. Anguish gives a joy more intense than any bliss. After so long having attained my desire, there I reside, beyond all desires, and to my heart's content, I relish the supreme and endless perfection of life. Yet, the nature of that reality is such that I never feel satiated. Never then, for any reason, can I give up Krishna's all-attractive lotus feet, smeared with kumkum from the breasts of the women of Braja. Never can I stop serving those feet with my senses, body and mind, not even for a fraction of a second. Krishna showed this most wretched person the favor of His mercy, mercy others can never hope for, enhanced with the taste of His divine sweetness. To no one should this be disclosed, yet I have recounted my story to you. After staying some time in Golok, I realized this splendid Mathura Mandal here in the mortal world is not different. Varieties of divine gopis and cowherd abound the Gokul, just as in Golok, and so do the other animals and birds and the insects and the mountains, rivers, trees and other beings. And this place is adorned with never-ending stream of similar pastimes, expanded by the glories of Krishna Chandra. I reside therefore sometimes here and sometimes there. No longer do I perceive any difference between these two abodes. There is no difference between Gokul here and Golok there. Traveling from one to the other, back and forth, may make it seem that there is some distinction, but I am so attached to both places that I hardly notice any difference. That is, when Gopkumar is in this Vrindavan, he doesn't see any difference from that Vrindavan. Neither my sight, nor my hearing, nor even my mind ever touches any other abode than these two. My heart never thinks that the original Supreme Lord Sri Krishna or his devotees like those present here could ever reside anywhere else. From time to time I may see residents of Vaikuntha or some other place, but to my eyes they appear tormented by separation from Sri Krishna. By not seeing in those other devotees a mood like that of the residents of Vraja, I may occasionally be disappointed, yet that only makes my love for Krishna shine forth more brightly. And so my disappointment becomes a cause of supreme joy. How much can I say about that supreme reality? Oh, the world of Golok, its multitude of residents, honored by all the worlds, always perceive its greatness. So now I have said enough. To all who live with the Lord in that abode, I offer my obeisances. Thus ends the 6th chapter of part 2 of Srila Sanatana Goswami's Brihad Bhagavatamritam, entitled Abhishta Labh, or Attainment of All Desires. Shri Shri Brihad Bhagavatamritam ki jai. Srila Sanatana Goswami ki jai. Shri Gop Kumar ki jai. Shri Shri Madan Gopal ki jai. Shri Shri Radha Madan Gopal ki jai. Shri Shri Brajavasi ki jai. Shri Vrindavan Dham ki jai. Shri Mathura Mandal ki jai.